have been storing up Cowboy nuts.
It's amazing. It's amazing, the transition in my life where I just want to talk about the NFL now. There was a time when I was like, I liked it, but it's like I wanted to talk baseball, college, whatever. Now it's just like,
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Everybody says as you get older, people get more into baseball. I'm getting more into the NFL as I get older.
Wow,
So,
excellent.
Scotch. It's
Scotch.
Yeah, you're just maturing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting more into baseball too, so that's part of it. But yeah, I'm definitely getting more into the NFL. Is there any way for the Cowboys to walk into camp in Oxnard and us to think that they had a successful offseason? We're way past them having any impact free agents, right?
Yep.
Who even is available out there they could get that we would be like, oh yeah, maybe some depth guys. But is there any way for them to walk into camp and for
Where's Jamal Adams?
Yeah, for us to get off the airplane on July whatever in sunny Southern California and think, man, I'm excited. This I feel good. This is a successful offseason.
Well, the follow-up that you had to it last night makes it more of an interesting question of the extensions getting done.
And there was an article on ESPN, like final moves for every team, and a way that they could nail the rest of their offseason. And for the Cowboys, it said extend 2 of their 3, Dak, CD, and Micah. And the write-up, and this is from Aaron Schatz at ESPN, he was with Football Outsiders for years. And he says, I'm not sure what they're waiting for. The longer they wait, like you've said for a million years, Sean, the important players, the more expensive those contracts become, get paid and raise the bar of those positions. This isn't the place to have a long debate about Dak's struggles in the postseason or whether he's truly worthy of top money. But nobody out there is going to argue against the idea of Lamb and Parsons being at or near the top of the market. What are they waiting for? You're not going to let them leave, so get on it. So if we walk into camp and any combo of those 3 are signed, do we feel like this was a successful offseason?
Ooh, successful versus excited. I definitely won't be more excited stepping off the plane at LAX. I won't be more excited. Well, I think it would have been more successful. I'll still probably lean towards no, because I won't think that they're any closer to a championship team than the team that got humiliated by the Packers.
No, I don't think we'll feel that way at all. Part of why people felt you needed to get things done early in the offseason was because they wanted the flexibility of getting this done and massaging cap numbers and doing different things that then you could go improve your team with free agent additions that now they can't make. So no, I don't think it's possible. I also think it matters who is it. Like if you tell me, if we get off the plane and CeeDee Lamb's contract extension is done, okay, that's good. If Micah's contract extension is done, is that a necessity to get it done this early? Like, is that one that, like, if you end up prioritizing Micah getting done before Dak and CD who are rapping on the door, is that
it's also
an efficient use of resources?
Interesting, not funny, Bobby, how the Micah contract has now kind of slithered its way into the Dak and Lamb conversation. At the beginning of the offseason, it was just, all right, Dak and Lamb, Dak and Lamb, Dak and Lamb. And now Micah has entered the fray, especially after his comments at practice when he's like, people are paid to be here, not me.
Yeah, and people are saying on TV all over the place, Micah should not step foot on the field. He should not even go to camp until he gets his money.
Well, he's not there anyway.
He's not there anyway. But, you know, I was looking at this, you know, from each team, the difference for each team. And, like, it's disappointing when you go around the rest of the league and you see, like, what their one thing they can do.
What's your one thing?
What's your one thing? Very nice.
Odyssey, Joe.
Odyssey.
It's nothing compared to what we have. Like, it's that for the Giants, sign Lawrence Guy. Okay. For the Eagles, sign Eddie Jackson. For Washington, sign Sam Cosmi, a guard. For the Bears, sign Ryan Tannehill. For the Lions, sign Michael Thomas. Sign Stephon Gilmore of your Green Bay. Sign J-Ron Kearse of your Jacksonville. Like these are small moves.
Is J-Ron still out there unsigned?
He is. I think there was I think some people in league circles were not thrilled with how J-Ron played last year when they look at things. I think they felt like there was some effort lacking.
But like it just seems like the Cowboys have like a much bigger cloud over their head right now with this. I mean, everybody else is like, sign this role player. And for the Cowboys, it's like, hey, let's go ahead and extend top 5 players their position or whatever.
Well, I mean, look, I know it's easy for us to be like, we're here in Dallas, so it's maybe difficult to sometimes see what the national focus is. But Trevor Lawrence extension was obviously one that had been talked about a lot. So, quick off the top of your head, who are the big contracts that need to get done in the NFL?
Lamb, Parsons, Dak.
Tua?
T. Higgins.
Tua, T.
Yep.
Ayuk. But I mean, that's the thing. You're talking about
Debo.
Individual players in some of these little spots. Whereas with Dallas, it's 3, and it's arguably 3. You can make a case that those 3 are the biggest ones that need to get done.
That's very true. There's no way. We're all saying there's no way that it's a successful offseason or excited.
No.
It can be successful. It can be somewhat successful if you got those done. But I'm not going to be excited because they all were on the team last year.
But it could have been better, and you still ultimately cost yourself money in the process. So I don't know that it's more just like, okay, great, you stopped digging. You stopped digging when the hole was there.
True.
One of the other ones that was asked is from Bill Barnwell. If the Cowboys do move on from Dak, can they even make the playoffs ever again? Like, are they just
ever
done?
again?
Not even ever again, but like, is that something that would prevent if they sign all 3? So 35 for Micah. Let's say they sign all 3. 35 for Micah, 35 for Lamb, and 60 for Dak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that would put them at the top of the food chain of each position. They would have 3 guys that make up 46% of their salary cap.
Tyler Smith is eligible for a new contract next year, too.
So he's asking if they all got that money.
If they all got that money, does that immediately prevent them from making the playoffs? So there's no way to build depth there. When you look at the other teams that have had a similar number of 3 guys making up 46% of the cap, I'm going to show you 2 teams from 2022.
2 teams.
And go look up go to the 2022 standings, Bobby. Real quick, go to 2022 standings.
I got you.
In 2022, the Raiders
I'm laughing at it so much.
had Devontae Adams, Derek Carr, and Max Crosby make up about 46% of their cap.
Mm-hmm.
How'd the Raiders do in 2022?
They were 6-11.
In 2022, the season, and as the salary cap has moved and grown, I mean that number's kind of gone away. But this would not be your top 10 players. This would be your top 3.
Yeah, I mean, look,
and let me fire back at you here and ask you, Mr. Team Builder, would that prevent you from giving any of the 3 that money?
No.
Look, I mean,
Meow.
we read the article from Gelkin earlier this week where Michael had said Dak might have to take less in order for all 3 to stay.
No,
That might be the only way to keep all 3, because if you max out all 3 of them, you're probably gonna have to pick 2 of them.
Yeah, you might have to. And like, look, obviously the Cowboys. What would the Chiefs do? Would the Chiefs trade CeeDee Lamb for 2 firsts?
Well, they tried to re-sign Tyreek. Let's not forget that. Let's not give them all this credit.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, they let Tyreek walk. No.
And Mahomes took a friendly deal.
Yes. Like they barely got outbid by the Raiders. I'm sorry.
Miami.
The Dolphins.
Yeah.
They barely got outbid. I was thinking of Devontae. Well, they tried to bring back Tyreek, and I don't think they insulted him with the offer.
Right.
I don't think.
They gave, Chris Jones, we think, took like a dumb deal.
Right.
So they got Chris Jones. Kelsey's been giving them a break.
Yeah. Like if they were in a similar situation, the Chiefs had Lamb and Parsons on their team.
Yeah.
With Mahomes, are they trying to re-sign them both, or are they going to trade one of them for 2 first-round picks?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing here is you got to remember the accounting tricks that exist within the NFL and within the salary cap. So when we say 60, 35, 35, and we put those numbers on it, for instance, Trayvon Diggs, his average salary is $19.4 million. Okay, his cap hit last year as a almost $20 million player was $14 million. His cap hit this year is $14 million. Like, especially when you had void years on the back end, you could have a player who their average salary could be $30 million, let's say. And with the void years on the back and the accounting tricks, you could have that player never count $30 million against your cap during the entire duration of the contract.
Yeah, it's who's easier to find? Who's easier to replicate, Micah or CD? If you were to trade one for 2 first-round picks, who's easier to replicate?
Lamb.
CD's easier to replicate as a player.
Yeah, so I think
I'm still re-signing them all, by the way.
I still probably would too, but if it's easier to replicate the receiver,
you're not going to get me to say the Cowboys are farther away from the playoffs because they paid all 3 of them. The simplified thought is, hey, if you have a really good offense with a really good quarterback, you should be making the playoffs anyway.
You should make them anyway. You'll find your way into a halfway decent defense.
CD is easier to replicate as the player, but I think that's why you have to put nuance into it and say, okay, but the impact that he makes with the team specifically and the type of locker room personality he is and what you would have to work on if you lost that versus what you would have to replace if you lost Micah. Can I get Micah's impact? Not necessarily. I might be able to get 14 sacks, though. Like, I can get that number.
You can recreate it.
I can recreate that number.
Yeah, you can. Like would the Cowboys have done? Let's say the Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills were the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys were in the same position as the Bills, where they had, made it to an AFC Championship game and always run into that one team. Would the Cowboys have moved on from Diggs?
No. Not with their line of thinking, I don't think. Not the way that they approach players.
Right,
no.
I agree. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. It's just, it's just interesting how that works around the league.